Hi kids, Uncle Jesse here. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Storytime with Jesse. Yay! It's my favorite show. What's this that I have in my hand? It's an American Werewolf in London. Represent yo! I'm saying yo because that's how the kids talk these days. The kids be saying yo. So anyway, I thought I'd take this opportunity, this episode, to talk about my favorite movie. Definitely one of my top 5 consistently throughout my entire life, but usually this ranks as number 1. I just love this movie. Best transformation scene ever. I mean, every time I see the I'm burning up. Yeah, it's just the best. It's just the best. You got great chemistry between the leads with David Naughton and Griffin Dunne. You've got Jenny Agutter in there, who is in love with this guy, despite him clearly being off his rocker. Oh, sure, come on in, David. I see you're having an existential crisis and your friend was just murdered and you're talking about transforming into a werewolf and killing people, but I find you terribly attractive. Oh, it's great. Every performance in this movie is great. The writing is excellent. I think I was inspired to do this episode because there's a lot of these react channels on YouTube where people will like react for the first time to a movie, and I don't know why I kind of like watching these, and a lot of people have been doing American Werewolf in London recently, and I like watching their reactions to it, knowing what's about to happen and seeing how they're reacting, especially these millennials, and are they going to appreciate the movie, are they going to appreciate the tone, are they going to jump at the right moments, etc. And a lot of people kind of don't get the point of it, and a lot of people love it. I mean, most of the people I've seen love it, but there's like some of these young kids are watching and they're like, I don't really get it. The tone is kind of all over the place. Is it serious? Is it comedic? And for me, it's almost perfect. I mean, it's a great juxtaposition between horror and comedy. People say, oh, is it a horror comedy? No, it's a horror film that just happens to have some humor in it, and John Landis likes to fuck with people's heads by juxtaposing the tone. So he'll have a really serious, heartfelt moment, followed by something really kind of glib and silly, like him running around naked in the zoo and, asking the boy for his balloons, and the boy turns and he sees this bush, and it's just a shot of a bush. He's like, come over here, little boy, I want your balloons. And it's just weird and maddening, and it's all over the place. Watching it again, it was just like, wow, it's such a master class in like every part of filmmaking. And I love John Landis' style, and which I call, it's similar to John Carpenter's style, and I classify it as the no bullshit style, or the just matter-of-fact style is probably better. They're not trying to impress you with their directing. They're not trying to, have a lot of fancy shots or camera movement or do anything like particularly, mind-bending. They're just kind of setting up the shots in a traditional way, letting the scene play out. You don't notice the filmmaking of it because it just flows as a story. And I saw that movie when I was a little kid, and it blew me away, and it continues to blow me away. The transformation, still the best transformation ever. People keep saying like, oh, there's a lot of other good movies. There's Ginger Snaps, there's Dog Soldiers, there's Bad Moon, what's that new one? Late Phases. People say, oh, Late Phases is pretty good, and it's like, to me, all of those movies are kind of like pretty good at best. And I'm being generous here, and I'm sorry if you love those movies, but like, there's just no comparing those movies to some of the movies from the late 70s, early 80s, like American Werewolf, The Howling, even Silver Bullet, Curse of the Werewolf with Oliver Reed. I mean, I can't help it. I'm an old-timer, so I like the classic stuff, but I also think I can look at it objectively and determine which is a higher quality film or a higher quality special effects, and at least the higher quality special effects, because quality of a film is subjective, of course, but I think they really kind of nailed it with this one, and it's my favorite movie of all time. And if you haven't seen it, it's scary, it's funny, it's tragic. you know, it's the best werewolf movie ever made. So if you haven't seen it, I highly, highly recommend An American Werewolf in London. There's a couple different versions. This is a Blu-ray. It's got a ton of special features. There's the full moon. This is the full moon edition. Yeah, this one has a full-length feature documentary. Actually, two of them. I mean, it's got everything you could want as a horror nerd. So they just don't make them like this anymore. And I think everyone should watch it and appreciate it and love it as much as me. And if you don't, well, you are entitled to your incorrect opinion. Thanks for watching, y'all. I'm Jesse D'Angelo. You can find my stuff on Amazon.com and Godless.com. And I will see you next week. Have a good one.